Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We have dealt with stress at a point A on a given plane 1. We saw that in this context, stress is a vector with three components, one normal and two shear components. Now we have chosen imaginary plane 1, passing through point A that cuts this body in two. But we could easily have chosen a different cutting plane passing through the same point A. In fact, an infinite number of cutting planes could pass through the same point. Observe a different cutting plane, plane 2, that passes through the same point A. Although it is the same point, the magnitude and direction of delta FA and delta MA on plane 2 will be different from what they were on plane 1. Therefore, stress vector on the same point A is dependent on the orientation of the cutting plane or the interface. Therefore, to convey complete information about stress at a point, not only its magnitude and direction, but also the orientation of the plane. Must be specified. However, since it is the same point that we are talking about, it must be a different manifestation of the same state of stress. On the different interfaces. Now, although an infinite number of interfaces potentially can pass through the point, it can be demonstrated, and we will do it at a more appropriate time later, that knowing 9 components of stress at a point, three each, on any set of 3 orthogonal interfaces, the components on any other interface or set of interfaces can be obtained by a simple algebraic procedure. In other words, we completely describe the state of stress at a point if we manage to express the stress components on 3 mutually orthogonal interfaces. Let us take 3 mutually perpendicular interfaces so that point A lies on all 3. Recalling our convention about the subscripts, where the first subscript indicates the direction of the output normal to the interface, and the second subscript gives the direction of the stress component, we get for the three orthogonal interfaces these 9 stress components. The components in blue indicate the stress components on positive interfaces, that is, with outward normal in the direction of the positive axis, and the stress components in red on the negative interfaces. For example, for the Z interface, this is the positive Z interface because outward normal is in the positive Z direction, whereas this one is the negative Z interface because of the outward normal being in the negative Z direction. Because it is the same point A that we are talking about. For equilibrium, the stress component pairs will of necessity be equal and opposite. For example, sigma xx in blue must be equal and opposite to sigma xx in red. The only difference between the two is which side of the interface we are viewing. The fact that it is the same point also means that we must adopt a sign convention that gives the same sign for a particular component of stress for both sides of the interface. Because it would be absurd if we get different signs for the same stress component depending on the side of the interface. We will use the following sign convention. A stress component is positive if both its outward area normal and its direction act in the positive or the negative direction of axis. Negative if one is positive and the other is negative. It is obvious that all the stress components shown here are positive. In the form of an array, the stress is expressed in the x, y, z coordinate system as knowing these 9 components, some of which may well be 0, we can easily express the state of stress at the same point in any other coordinate system. For example, x dash, y dash, z dash coordinate system. An analogy would be a vector which, once we express it in any orthogonal coordinate system x, y, z in terms of its 3 components, we can easily express it in terms of any other orthogonal coordinate system x dash, y dash, z dash by a simple algebraic manipulation. In the case of vector, we need 3 components. In the case of stress, we need 9 components. That is because the 3 interfaces are involved with a stress vector on each interface. Please recall the previous segment. Note the stress vectors on interfaces x, y, and z as the first, second, and third row of the. Technically speaking, stress at a point tau ij is a second order tensor. The order can be seen from the number of indices. In this case, I and j, 2. A vector is also a tensor, but a first order tensor. It is often convenient to show the stress components at a point graphically on a cube in this way. Note that to avoid clutter, only the stress components on the positive faces have been shown. There would be equivalent stresses on the negative faces too. Also note that according to our sign convention, all components shown are positive. It must be kept in mind that despite the cube, it is just a point that we are talking about. The reason for showing a cube with finite dimensions is to avoid the clutter resulting from showing all the components on one point. Stress is always at a point. Anything bigger than a point and it becomes average stress.